All right, now moving into the Q&A section. Just remember, everybody out there listening, if you have any questions you want to ask us or an interesting topic you want to pitch, anything like that, you want to be a part of the show, send us an email at bastardsgamingnetwork@gmail.com or message us on the Bastards of Gaming Facebook group. All right, so Half-Cocked Disciple writes in and says, where do we go technologically with next-gen consoles? What is the most desired features you would want from said platforms? So I'm going to throw this to you, Brian. What do you think? Even though you're not a big console gamer, because you're fucking casual, that even though, someone buys you one, you don't even fucking play it. Look at
Here we go. No
dirty,
pressure.
dirty laundry.
This guy. I'm really not sure. I mean, with there's a huge rise in interest in cloud gaming. You guys touched upon this not that long ago. I definitely think that that's something that may be on the horizon, but I feel like until we have significantly better internet speeds, I still feel like that's completely off the table. So I think the next gen of consoles is going to be something a little bit closer to being just a PC. I mean, AMD has been just eating up market share, coming for Intel in ways that they haven't ever before. The Ryzen processors are so affordable. I think PC gaming is becoming so much more affordable that before long, I think within the next 5 years, we'll see PCs and consoles essentially being the same machines. Maybe a PC is going to be, or maybe a console is just going to be a kind of, sleeker version of a PC, but I think that's essentially what it's going to be.
Yeah, do you think it'll ever be modular? Like where you can change out components? I mean, this generation we've seen, just 2 iterations with the PlayStation Pro and the Xbox One X. Do you think we'll get more modular, or what do you think about that?
I feel like it's kind of already going that direction. I mean, compared to trying to upgrade my PC even 7 or 8 years ago versus doing it maybe a year or so ago, is a very significantly different experience. It is just, it's like Legos. It's like expensive Legos already of just plug and play and snap them together, and they tend to work. A lot of the headaches that used to come with building a PC are essentially stripped out. There's none of this this is the master cable and this is the slave cable and this is the master hard drive. It's a matter of 1, 2, 3, 4, and it boots in the order you plug it in. And I think consoles are definitely going to go that route. I mean, I was impressed enough as it was when Xbox One came out, and I knew people who were talking about oh, I installed that on my external hard drive and things like that. I think that it's headed for that point anyway. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think most console players that are super serious about it are hooking up external hard drives at this point. I have a 4 terabyte hard drive hooked up to my Xbox One where I just download everything basically. And even the games run faster and load quicker off of that external hard drive. But it's kind of obnoxious to not be able to just slot that in. It's like a separate thing that I have to make space for, and takes up room, and there's fucking extra cables and stuff like that. So I would hope that they would be able to address that in some way.
Well, I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon, just until I think more companies need to come together and sort of standardize a lot more. There's still way too much at least for a company like Microsoft or Sony, there's way too much concern over third party things, kind of, you know what I mean? Entering the space of modifying a console in a way that maybe they aren't, maybe they don't plan for, or something like that. I mean, it's something that takes it outside the realm of control. And I mean, that's the great thing about PC gaming, at the risk of sounding like a corporate shill, but not any more than you've already done this episode. But that's the great thing about PC gaming, is that the parts that you put into it are what you choose. You can purchase from Corsair or Kingston or whatever, and the graphics card you choose is, you can choose based on like this one looks the coolest and has RGB, or this one has the best performance, or this one's made by a company that has really good warranties, or really great customer service. Shout out to P&Y, like who their graphics cards are fantastic, and they're not a huge name like MSI or EVGA, but the great thing is that you have that variety. You have companies like Zotac and all these different companies that are competing with one another and trying to like drive innovation.
Yeah, well, just to be clear, I'm not a corporate shill. I fucking hate EA. Anthem wasn't that great. I've said I wasn't going to buy any EA games day one, and I don't think I've really shilled for anything. Dumb bullshit that doesn't really matter. But go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. There was that point where you were just sort of shilling for prog rock and how technically proficient it is, and how
prog rock is not a company, sir. It's not a corporation. Okay, it's a genre of music. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's
just like when you sit here and you want to say like, oh, I like industrial rock. You're shilling for something. It's the equivalent. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Okay, we're done.
Right, let's move on. We're done.
Yeah, it's cool. Great.
Can I talk now?
Yeah.
Nope. You're definitely not talking, but go ahead.
Thank you so much. So to answer your first question, the technologically, where will the next gen consoles go? I really don't give a shit because I don't need photorealistic games. I don't need it to be 24K or whatever the fuck it's going to be, because we have problems with load times. Multiplayer doesn't work. We're beta testing fucking games day one that are launched and we're paying full price for it. We have problems that exist outside the realms of, hey, what are the next gen consoles going to do? The next gen console is going to look better. It's going to do shit. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like we're going to get to a point. Go ahead.
But if there's just one thing you would want from a next gen console, like what would it be though? I mean, that's ultimately the question here.
Well, there's two different questions here. But okay, anyways, I don't really have an answer for that other than if we're going the social route that's supposed to be connecting people together, I don't feel like any consoles connect anybody together. There's no, like, you go on Facebook, people are sharing stuff, people are commenting, liking, whatever, and you don't really get that online unless you're like somebody important and you're doing like a Twitch feed or something like that. So I think, like, I don't even participate in that stuff anyway. I don't really watch people play. I don't really care what other people are posting that much. So it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is I want to be playing with like-minded people. So it'd be nice if there was a system in place, like let's say Microsoft developed some sort of queuing system within a game or outside the game, kind of like the looking for group thing, where you can get together with like-minded people in the sense like, okay, you can have like an age range, or you put in like a few keywords that narrows down the type of people that you would want to play with, like people that are cool. They're not going to be toxic. They're not going to go bananas. They're just in it to play and have fun and meet new people, because we don't really have that. I don't really get to meet new people online that are cool. It's always people that are just like, hey, let's game. They don't talk. And then they leave the second whatever we're playing is over. They don't stick around.
Well, not to get off on a tangent here, but related to that, I feel like most of us that started playing online games as they were coming of age were all around the same age range. We were all probably similar people. And so it was a kind of a special thing when that started to happen. But now as video games have gotten, have been going on, like online gaming has been happening for what, I don't know, like 25 years-ish or something. I don't know the origin of online video gaming. It was probably on the PC back in the day, in the mid 90s. But so like even like the early days of Xbox, you would just sit in an open chat in the game. Like you didn't just immediately mute everybody because you felt like you were meeting people that were like-minded. And as some of us are getting older, we're like we're coming across someone that's potentially 20 years younger than us playing a video game, and they might be good, but maybe we don't want to talk to them, or maybe we do, And so I think there's this disconnect. And there's a lot of negativity that I think is a little bit overblown in some ways. Like I think especially if you get on like a PC game and you get into just the broad open channel chat, a lot of the people you meet, especially if you're playing a more niche video game, a lot of those people are super cool and super down to earth and willing to communicate with you and talk to you. But I definitely agree with what you're saying. Like, but that gets into this weird thing where like now you're like siphoning off people in a game that might not even have that big of a player base. You know what I mean? So now you're trying to like siphon people off because Xbox has tried to do that in the past. Even on 360, you could put your preferences in on the system level of like, oh, I just want to meet people that are it was very basic. But I'm just saying like it starts to sort of how do you even incorporate like how do you click a few settings in a online menu like that would connect you with people that you think you would like get along with, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's like an insurmountable problem in a certain way. Like, I don't even know how you solve that problem.
It seems. Sorry, I was going to say it's probably more of a problem in the sense that it's a social problem because people don't want to talk. People have no time. Go. Let's run through this. Let's skip all the cutscenes. That's what it feels like when you play with people. Like they don't want to talk to you and they're just there because they need an extra body to help them shoot something. And I wish it went beyond that a little bit.
Two very quick points just on this topic. The first one being is that like I agree with you that I think that when we were playing video games when we were younger, it was a significantly different experience because it was go out, buy the game or rent the game, but you're taking it home to experience it in solitude. There weren't even a lot of like online forums to go look for help or talk to other people unless they had the same game, which, you know, even if you're like going to school, like, oh, maybe Timmy can't purchase the game or maybe he's too poor or, you know, whatever. I feel that it was a very solitary experience, whereas like video games and, you know, we've been able to observe them become a social experience. You know, the kids are watching other kids stream Minecraft and that kid might not be the best at the game, but he's doing something that's uniquely his own and other kids can watch it and kind of join in. And honestly, I look at that behavior, at that interaction with a certain degree of envy. You know, that would have been some great for some of us when we were that age to be able to connect with somebody in that way. So I think that's a really good thing. And to sort of illustrate that point, you know, I ended up working with a lot of people who play Overwatch on consoles, and I've had the pleasure of playing with them a couple of times. And
what console would that be?
That would be the Xbox One. Yeah, that's correct.
Just wanted to make sure that let the record show.
Okay. So, anyway, I played with these people that are very, very kind. But you know, one of those people was my boss. You know, some were my coworkers. You know, mid-20s women who are just like super into Overwatch and, you know, watch competitive and not only watch competitive Overwatch, but like, you know, play ranked and will get on their mic and try and rally people to do it. And I mean, even something like that is night and day from, you know, 10 years ago.
Yeah. So to bring this on home, this main topic, because I haven't said the things that I want from a next gen console. I'm thinking like, I'm thinking that like games need to be 60 frames per second. No questions asked moving forward here. Like, I don't give a fuck about graphics moving on, even though I love graphics. Games look great. They look fine. They're perfect. They're fine. Make fucking console games 60 frames per second. Make that the fucking standard. And if any game can't hit that, then guess what? You can't be on the platform. You got to downgrade the graphics, whatever it is. I know that's, but like, God fucking damn, man. Can we get 60 frames per second on consoles? I mean, that just needs to be a thing. And, you know, these games are getting bigger. We need bigger hard drives. That's kind of a separate thing. But yeah, we just need better options to be able to do all this weird stuff. There's even things like UI, you know, like I honestly think the PlayStation 4 UI is probably the best UI from a just the basic console menu options that's out there. It's super simple, super clean, to the point. When you want to jump into party chat or a game or whatever it is, it's super fast to just get there. The Xbox, as much as I love it, the fucking UI has been a horrendous piece of shit this entire generation. Slow, sluggish, takes too many fucking clicks, and I don't know, how do I find this? Go in this like sub menu here and click on this. Like, just make it clean and to the point. And so yeah, those are my biggest things of just like, let's just make it easier to play games, to jump into the games, to have the experiences you want super fast. And god damn it, like, let's fucking have 60 frames per second console games. Like, let's just make that happen. It needs to happen.
I have found the Xbox interface very confusing. Coming into it as somebody who, I had an Xbox, original Xbox, and I had a 360, and I briefly had a PlayStation 4, but it is confusing. Trying to navigate your way around, like, even just trying to like play a fucking movie that I like take the Blu-ray and I shove it in the motherfucker. Like, how do I play it? Like, there's no pop-up, there's no prompt. You have to like go install like the Blu-ray player app, like, waste my fucking time. Like, just an excuse to get me to go on the Windows Store so I can look at shit that I'm not going to buy. I don't like it. I think it's awful. I think more going forward, I would love to see something a little bit closer to like the Steam overlay. Like, not to sound like a PC master race kind of goon or anything, but like,
no, but you are. That's fine.
I mean, yeah, it's fine. But I mean, it's so convenient to just be able to like shift tab and like I can open my web browser. I can look at my friends list. I can look at discussions for the game. I can look at guides for the game if I'm stuck. I mean, all of those things pop up and are relevant to my experience in that moment. And I feel like that's the thing that Xbox and Microsoft sort of miss.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I have to use my app, my Xbox app for chat between, like, if not everybody has mics, like, it's way easier to do it on my phone than on the fucking console itself.
Yeah, especially if you're not intimately familiar with it and like how it's been updated and like changed over the course of time. Because like even now it's like it's better than it was, but it's still absolute fucking horrendous trash. And yeah, they just make things overly complicated, and it sucks because Microsoft has done everything under the sun to make the Xbox One a fucking solid video game platform, and they've done everything on the back end, on the front end, but just the underlying technology that operates their operating system, their UI, and that has just always been bad. And every time they try to update it, it's always been horrendous. But the other thing I was going to add, which it seems like Microsoft is going to be doing, is adding keyboard and mouse support. And like I recently bought a peripheral to let me play keyboard and mouse on the Xbox platform, and I can even use it on my PlayStation. But that needs to be a thing. And I'm sorry if you controller people can't handle people that are using keyboard and mouse. Like, fucking learn to grow up and play a goddamn keyboard and mouse. But at this on the other side of that token, I will totally plug in my Xbox controller and play Battlefield PC online with anybody and wreck shop. It's not an either or. Like, if you're good at what you're good at and you calibrate the controls, you can do it. But there needs to be fucking keyboard and mouse support for all consoles moving forward, in my opinion. What do you guys think about that?
Sure, it'd be useful for the RTS games, for like the two of them that exist.
Sounds like a PC.
Yeah, because you were saying like earlier this week, and you play all these PC games that require that setup, and even though you don't necessarily like using those things per se to play all types of games. I mean, if that was just an option, you know what I mean? It's not. I just don't think it's that much of an advantage. I mean, people have been playing console shooters and stuff like that for almost 20 years now. Since like Halo 1 blew up and became a thing, and so like you have people that are super fucking dope, and they've dialed in their their settings. You have all these like crazy things like the Xbox Elite controller and all these SCUF controllers and all this other stuff. And those people are super dialed in. They can play super competitively with those peripherals. And I guarantee you, if you just threw people into the competitive pool and let people play with keyboard and mouse versus people that are like, super into whatever controller interface they use, they could totally compete. Like, I don't think at the end of the day, keyboard and mouse wins out all the time. So I think it's worthwhile to just make that an option. And then, like, if it becomes a problem, maybe we figure out a way to solve that. But why not just fucking do it and just let people that just want to do that do it and see what happens? Just experiment. I don't know.